Hey, I'm Zoe Everest. I am a musician, a vocal coach, and a shaking medicine practitioner. And I love how all of these modalities can work together to soothe the nervous system and create more liberation. Shaking medicine is an amazing modality, and it's actually a primal mechanism that's inside of all mammals. So mammals in the wild, if they're under stress, they will actually involuntarily shake the trauma and stress out of the body. And as humans, we have learnt to just hold all of that in. So this gives us an outlet to actually rid ourselves of stress and traumas without having to re-traumatize or go into story. So there's so many benefits to shaking medicine. The most obvious one for me is that it gets you into the parasympathetic nervous system. So that is the nervous system responsible for resting and digesting. A lot of us actually exist in the stress response, which is fight or flight. And so when we get into parasympathetic, then our bodies can start to rejuvenate and heal, and our nervous system can rest. Then I usually find that people, including myself, feel a lot more peace, groundedness, openness, presence in their life, and are just more receptive to pleasure and joy. Yeah, so obviously when you're getting into that parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to have better sleep, better rest, and feel more calm. But also you actually can find that you get quite toned doing this exercise, even though you don't really feel like you're doing a workout because your body is actually moving you, but the muscles are actually exercising. And you will also find that you actually feel more free in the body because you can actually shake out the tensions out of the muscles. And it can look a bit exhausting when you're watching somebody, but it's actually quite passive. So there is like an element of effort put into the preparation to get into the neurogenic tremoring. But once you're actually activated that mechanism, you're actually kind of a passenger in it all, and you're really just guiding the tremors, and the body's really moving you. So it actually isn't as much effort as it might look from the outside. So how did I learn about shaking medicine? It wasn't something I was actively looking for, although I had heard about TRE many years before and had really piqued my interest. But I was actually just at a festival and I was pregnant and I was actually feeling quite anxious, and it was very hot, so I was just trying to get out of the heat. And I stumbled into this shaking medicine class, and I thought, there's no way that I want to stand there and just shake my body like this the whole time, which is what I always thought shaking medicine was. But what I discovered was that was just the warm-up, and once my body actually started to move me, I was blown away. And I literally walked out of that workshop completely feeling renewed. I felt like I'd been rinsed out. I felt so open, grounded, and peaceful. And I was just like, what is this? I am going to learn more. And that's when I did the teacher training while I was pregnant. So the classes have a similar structure each time, in that there'll be a section that is about tuning into yourself with different embodiment practices like stretching or qigong or breath work. And this will help people to drop into themselves. I also, being a vocal coach, will put my vocal warm-ups and exercises in with this to just further open the body and tune people into their voice as well as their energy. And then we will do some voluntary shaking or movement that tires the body out. And then we use some yoga poses, which a lot of people would be familiar with. And there's a range of motion between two yoga poses that we explore to access that neurogenic tremoring, that involuntary shaking. So a lot of people, when they're doing yoga, they've all noticed their legs starting to shake where they just tense out of it. In this, we're really encouraging to surrender and soften into those tremors and let them move through the body. And then at the end of the class, it's more about bringing it all together, grounding down. So we might use some vocal toning, some deep rest, and use our voice in expressive or playful ways to just ground down the practice. Yeah, so when I was doing the teacher training, I found out that what I already did as a vocal coach was very complementary to this modality. And so as I was training, I just was really playing around with incorporating the vocal techniques with the shaking, and people were really loving it. And people even said like they couldn't imagine doing the shaking without it. And we do get encouraged to make sound in general with shaking medicine, but people really enjoyed like really playing and learning and stretching their voices out at the same time. And the more research I've done, the more I realized that there is so much to do with the nervous system and well-being with singing, and particularly long tones and vocalizing with the voice. And the more I learn, the more I realize that these are just such complementary modalities and really powerful together. Some people do feel like being vulnerable, letting go of trauma and emotions with other people is just way too much of an edge for them. And that's why I'm offering these online classes, because then people can do this in the privacy of their own home. I have actually had other people worried about like their bodies jiggling and how they're going to look or how they're going to sound, making these strange sounds. So that's why when we've got it online, you can literally just be you and yourself, and me, of course, guiding you, but it does create that privacy and container for people to really just let go that don't like that group setting. So I think that shaking medicine and somatic body practices are something that really need to come to the forefront in terms of mental health and a part of somebody's well-being regime. I've had psychologists actually say to me that they feel like these body practices are part of the missing link in people healing, because this talk therapy is also great, but it only goes so deep. But there are certain things that really need to be moved out of the body in order for people to really heal, and that's what shaking medicine provides. So as a vocal coach, I was always taught to try and get rid of tension in the voice so that the voice can move freely. And what I love about shaking medicine is that the body is naturally shaking itself open and getting rid of that tension before we use our voice for singing. So I feel like this would be a really beneficial practice for singers, even like professional singers that need to get rid of tension before performing and feel more at ease before performing, but also for vocal coaches to teach their students. Imagine living each day feeling clear, more grounded and calm in your nervous system. Imagine living each day feeling clear, more grounded and calm in your nervous system. This is what shaking medicine can do. If you're dealing with anxiety, stress, muscle tension or trauma, there is an empowering way to literally shake these things off. If you're dealing with stress, muscle tension, trauma or anxiety, there is an empowering way to literally shake these things off. I'm really passionate about sharing this modality with people. I feel like it's the medicine that everybody needs but don't know about. And so I've created a free 60-minute class which will get you started to access this amazing primal response. I'm really passionate about sharing this medicine far and wide. I feel like it's the medicine that most people need, but they don't even know it exists. And so I created a 60-minute class, and that's going to give you everything you need to start accessing this amazing primal response for yourself. Click the link below and get started today. I absolutely love sharing this medicine with people, and so I created a 60-minute class, and this will help you get started accessing this primal response for yourself. So all you need to do is just click the link below and you can get started today.